Hey everybody, welcome to Let's Talk About Gay Stuff, live with Our Spoopy.
With Our Spoopy Podcast.
That's Our Spoopy Podcast.
It's circulating. Oh, Tony's giving us his mask for mask realness, huh?
Oh my
Wow, way to
gosh.
start.
Yes, this is my new Grindr profile pic. Mask.
Mask for mask.
This is from my friend Mitzi. She sent me a care package this week.
Oh, that's nice.
The mask. She also sent me a pillowcase with same fabric. Like, if you're ever feeling down, need to lay on the couch all day, I'm sending you a pillowcase. All these like men and hearts. Thank you.
Cute.
All the slumber parties you go to.
Yeah.
Super cute.
Styling with my new mask.
All right, everybody. So we are here at the Cinco de Mayo Sassy Hour. So Cinco de Sassy, right? Because
Yes.
let's just note, even though we're having, special drinks, this is not a celebration about margaritas. There was a battle one time, and people died.
Nobody died.
No, people actually died.
Yes.
Nobody got it.
And a TGI Fridays.
No.
Was this at a Chili's or a TGI Fridays?
At least we're not being like the president was a few years ago, which I'm still mad, and it's resurfaced on Twitter where he was eating a taco bowl and he said, "I love Hispanics," so such as the wonderful president.
And they voted for him still.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna vote for
The
him.
uneducated, they voted for him.
They did.
Oh, he loves
So
He loves me and Kendall.
Oh, he does. Well, let's go around the horn, introduce ourselves. As you can see, we two are us two, we're in a same box this week because we're not doing any special shenanigans, so you only need one box. And plus we figured because Kennedy likes to go back and forth between the rooms, maybe we can minimize it, but he's already proving disruptive. So we should have loaded him up with some baked bones, which we may have to do during this episode. But anyways, which Baked Bones is a great sponsor of our podcast, so we appreciate the Baked Bones group who has the CBD treats for your dogs that basically is keeping all our dogs in good spirits. So kudos to that. Yeah, so he's going to go do that. So while we're doing that, I'll go around the horn and introduce yourself, what podcast you're with, and what drink you have, which, hey, sounds like I've already had one too many. So I'm Thomas. I'm with Let's Talk About Gay Stuff. I'm having a margarita because it's Cinco de Mayo. So, yeah, that's me. What about, we'll go that way to Chris.
Oh, my turn.
Yeah, you're in the box next to me.
Well, I'm Chris, and I'm with Our Spoopy Podcast, and I'm drinking the same thing that I drink every single week, our delicious red wine from my Olivia Pope wine glass, because it makes my hands look so tiny. Margaritas are on the way. Savannah is picking up some delicious Mexican food for us from our favorite restaurant as we speak. So,
What is your favorite restaurant, Chris?
So she loves La Tapatia. So
okay, yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's what she's ordering from and getting for us. So I'm excited about that. But we're going to celebrate our Cinco de Mayo that way too.
Just margaritas? Are you having fajitas, tacos?
What?
Just margaritas, or are you having food?
There's going to be food, yes.
Well, tell us about
There's going to be a line in the margarita.
Did you hear about his takeout bill last month? Of course there's food.
Mine! Oh my gosh.
Chris, have you been mostly eating out or a mix?
It was more than the rent.
So it's kind of a good mix, especially lately. We've been trying to eat more from like actually cooked foods from the stores, since that's better than going out to eat all the time. But we still want to support our local businesses as well, so we're making sure to patronize our local businesses as well. So doing that as well.
Well, I noticed if you go to Kroger, the produce is nice and moist from the coughing, because nobody at Kroger is wearing a mask.
Oh, gross.
Luckily,
HEB has nice produce, and everyone's wearing masks, so I have not had to worry about HEB there.
Kroger eliminating the curve, they're flattening it, and that's what we're supposed to do.
Flattening up at the top.
They're crushing it by killing people. No, I'm just
The lobotomy.
Just kidding. We've got a couple of folks online that are following along. So Martha's there, and Sammy, Mitzi, all saying hi. My cousin Crystal's there. So kudos. Hello,
Tell them hi.
All right, Tony. What are you? What's going on? Who are you, and what are you drinking?
So With let's talk about gay stuff. Faded shirt. Drinking some white chilled,
Fancy.
Is that a comically?
I a massive glass like Chris.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if the angle or if it was actually a ball.
It's pretty.
It's all about the angle.
I have a little bit of tint on my camera so that it doesn't look as massive as it actually is.
You have it gives you a little trust.
Yeah, a little ooh. I like to stick my pinky out sometimes. When in doubt, pinky out.
Chris,
That's how he eats his taco bowls.
What about you, Kendall? And Justin Walker.
I am drinking my Mio Black Cherry Energy.
Ooh.
And since it makes me jitter, I thought I'd wear a matching shirt so when it spills, you'll never.
Look at you! I don't even need to do laundry.
Color coordinated.
Is red your favorite color?
My panties that I'm not wearing are also pink.
Oh, then you gay.
Then you
Did they come like that?
We learned about that last week.
My invisible panties are pink.
Anything happening exciting this week? Obviously Cinco de Mayo. Yesterday was fourth. May the 4th be with you. Anything good? Anything worth sharing? The crowd is silent.
Went for a nice run today. That was about all I really did. So no.
No.
Nothing.
Still feels like I live in a snow globe.
Yeah. All right.
Like my little tiny world in this one street. It was like that before. I don't have good eyesight.
I have good eyesight.
Now Kendall has an excuse to be an introvert. He's like, well,
I know.
I'd like to be extroverted, but it's against the law.
I'm a shut-in, and finally society caught up with me, accepts me.
Yes. Cool. Justin again says, how y'all doing? And Tammy Wallace is on, who's been on our show. She's following along. She said, we brought a smile to her face. Speaking of
hey everybody.
Speaking of smiles to your faces, I'm sure you've had plenty of Cinco de Mayo celebrations where you were had maybe too much tequila and smiling. Any good Cinco de Mayo memories that you can recall, and not too much tequila?
Do you guys remember that we went to the lake last year for Cinco de Mayo?
Well, Tony did.
Don't remember that.
Was it Cinco de Mayo?
Yep.
No, Tony, you didn't go on that trip. Chris did. Tony,
yeah.
you didn't go. I don't think you were invited. I'm just kidding.
I thought when we went, it was like in the summer.
We went for Labor Day when we had our podcast retreat. Our Listen Works retreat.
That was a lot of fun, though. Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Kendall
I
doesn't remember
a
that.
lot of it because when I drink chocolate milk, I forget things a lot.
All I remember from that trip is Kendall's amazing stories about true crime in Baton Rouge, and I loved them. They were coherent, succinct.
And some of them were true.
They were all true.
Nope.
Because we're fact checking.
No good memories yet. Like nothing. I mean, I feel like today we were supporting local business, so we were doing we got margaritas from Cyclones. So I feel like I've spent a lot of Cinco de Mayo and lost many events there and lost a lot of brain cells because they had Cyclones in Virginia as well, which was like the only non-Houston Cyclone Mayas there. And so it was 2 blocks from the apartment. Purposefully, we moved into that apartment so I could go to that Cyclones. And yeah, so I spent a lot of. And in Virginia, you can't get margaritas the same way.
Good.
No, go, Tony.
Oh, I just feel like all my Cinco de Mayos are just like, because if it falls on a weekday, it's just like a few margaritas after work, like at the local Tex-Mex place. But we're like gone all crazy on Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is I think most of the time during the work week, if Cinco de Mayo happened, I would go out and have a margarita or two, but not anything crazy. Pretty certain.
I'd have 3 or 4, but I mean,
I would just get really sloppy.
Putting on the 4th, yeah.
But I'm pretty certain my Cinco de Mayos in Houston I've celebrated with Savannah, which means that I really didn't remember any of them. So
do you always send her to get the margaritas and the food? course, sit down.
No, she was just doing it because it was on her way home.
Oh, is she back to work, like, at the office?
Yeah, she's back at work. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
We're getting some good
Her boss ain't wasting
confessionals.
no time. Shit.
We're getting some good confessionals in the Facebook
They've had
chat.
to do a lot of like math stuff.
So I'd encourage you guys to. I said we're getting some good confessionals in the Facebook chat. So I'd encourage you guys to take a look at those at your leisure, so not to put anyone on blast.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
So that Spence, you got any good Cinco de Mayo stories?
No. I
Nothing?
mean, they're all just margaritas.
Lots of margaritas.
Did I hear someone say that we went last Cinco de Mayo?
We went to the lake, yeah.
That's sad that none of us remember it. It's such a blur.
Was that the first time?
I think so.
But we left the place in perfect order, though,
Because we had
I
Bailey
don't
Bagels,
remember
remember?
that.
And
in
Kendall
case
kept
the
yelling
owner
Bailey
is
Bagels.
listening.
Okay.
We had Bailey Bagels with us because my parents went to Canada.
Oh yeah. I mean, I remember the time. I just don't remember like day. If that makes any sense. Anyways,
I'm just glad I'm not the only one with Alzheimer's in this group.
cheers to that, Tony.
We talked about Cinco de Mayo, but you guys asked if anything happened this week, and none of you guys mentioned the cool article, the shout out we got in Outsmart magazine. What up? That was cool. Huh? Everyone's
That's
Love
awesome.
about it.
What's that?
The models looked great. I couldn't even read the article because the picture was so beautiful.
All that airbrushing, thank God. Thank God we had a good
Technology.
I was telling you guys when we took the pictures, I was reminded of the Will and Grace episode where Grace was marrying Taye Diggs' character, and Rosario was taking pictures, and every time she'd take a picture, she'd be like, "Ooh, I'm gonna need a lot of Photoshop for that," and she was like, "Just take another picture." She's like, "I'm gonna be in Photoshop all day." So kudos to Ben and Kendall and Red Owl. I want to say it correctly.
Red Owl.
Who did the
Red Owl Virtual Tours is the company that did the photography.
Yes, so they did a very nice job of making that happen for us, and so yeah, the pictures came out great. The article was awesome. There was one, I think, the online version, which I guess I need to send a correction. They had our names labeled incorrectly, and so which was a minor thing. It was depending on which version you looked at, they had the names incorrectly, but people will figure it out. I don't look like a Kendall.
Like a Tony Lopez.
I have an uncle named Tony Lopez.
I don't know.
So I'm curious, Tony, what did you say you were drinking again? Because now I'm like, that looks. I mean, I like my margarita, but I'm.
Oh, it's just white wine.
But yeah,
It's chill. I put to keep it chilled.
ice in
Did
there.
you get it from one of your special wineries that you get the winery shipped directly to you?
So fancy.
No, I just box wine.
Oh.
Box.
$20 box
is
wine
actually
at
really
Target. Target.
The best kind.
Franzia.
Tony, you don't strike me as a box wine type of girl.
No.
Oh, now we're putting on Tony on blast. He's like, only $40.
A $2 shot.
Now he's all shy about it, like, oh no.
No, I'm not a snob.
No, not a snob. Well, no, not.
You know who introduced me to box wine? It was Spencer and Thomas. They introduced me to box. But at first I was like, oh no, box wine. I don't do that.
And
then they taught me that box wine can actually be good.
The way of the box.
Yeah, it's really.
The only thing about box wine is it'll say 34 glasses of box wine. You have to do the
And
math.
Kendall
It's like
gets like
divided
3.
by. It's like divided by 2, subtract 10. So
10 glasses of wine.
10 glasses of wine. Yeah.
It was like, wow, that lasted
And that's
me
a lot
one
of math
day.
to do
It's at
when no one's
34.
wearing masks in the grocery store.
What type of glasses are you using? Because it seems like the box of wine I probably get 3 glasses. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Well, we put it in a pitcher. And we'll chug the pitcher.
The nice thing about that is you don't have to use the aerator on the box wine, so it works out pretty well. Sorry.
Just an ice pick and then squeeze.
You ever play slap the bag in college? Is that a thing?
Yes. I used to do that, but we used to do it with like the Franzia wine, and that was disgusting. Like thinking about it again, just thinking.
That's the good box wine.
Franzia.
Fancy schmancy.
Have you ever heard a fancier name than Franzia? It's pronounced Franzia.
Oh gosh.
That's
This
where-
dive restaurant that I worked at back in Butte, they had a Franzia Red and a Franzia White Zinfandel. And I'll tell you, those fucking boxes would last like a year. Because, I mean, nobody drinks wine in Butte, especially at like a diner. So, like, there's like one or two old ladies that would come in and have a glass of like wine with their dinner. I'm like, oh man, that's like 9 months old.
Oh gosh.
Of course, I wouldn't say that. I'm like, sure. They're like,
Any of you
Don't those things go back to like 2 months of being open?
probably, but it's Butte.
That's true. They were like, "Ooh, look at this nice wine vinegar."
Fine
tastes so
wine, yeah,
good."
exactly.
Was
White
anybody
Zinfandel, Franzia, White.
a Boone's Farm drinker? Is anyone familiar with the deliciousness
Yeah, I've
Boone's
had Boone's Farm
Farm?
before. My mom used to drink Boone's Farm.
It was $1.99 a bottle.
That's a question, Chris.
Disposed.
Calm down.
That was the high
Now I
school.
can't answer that question.
That was the high school version
I have to set that one out.
of drinking.
Oh my god.
That's
I love that.
we drank in high school, and you'd use a fake ID to get it from the one guy who knew everyone was a high schooler, and going into his gas station with the fake ID, they all knew the drill. So it was a thing, and which is probably what my nephew's doing to this day. It's like he's going in there, that same gas station across from the high school, to go and.
Oh my god.
And you got it? You went in there and did that?
Well, I didn't, because I had a baby. I mean, look at this. I got a baby face. This isn't. I mean, we used a little bit of makeup to get into a character. No, I'm just kidding.
He's wearing high
He doesn't look 21 now. What do you?
Thank you. Anytime you want to compliment everybody, you just go to Tony, and he will make it happen. He'll make you feel better. He does that to this dog that's keeps bugging at Spence and I right now, but we make it work. Big Bones is so
Kicking in.
slowly settling in. So yes. All right. Well, no other secret Cinco de Mayo stories or anything like that? You said
You're not supposed to remember Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah, I don't remember it.
If you're patriotic, Mexican American, Thomas,
you
how
know,
do you remember your Cinco de Mayo?
we were playing Selena to get started, right? That
No,
was
we
our
weren't.
theme music. Actually, we were listening to Lizzo. I miss Lizzo. I feel like she would have been coming up with a good bop at this point, and she's just at home like the rest of us. So
Yeah.
Suffering.
but,
Yeah, that was the trip that we listened to Lizzo nonstop, and I loved it. And then, because that was before I knew who Lizzo was, and I was like,
ooh.
Kendall, what is your meal for Cinco de Mayo? Are you guys having anything special? Is Ben cooking fajitas?
Actually, we did it early. We made more taquitos last night.
Oh,
Very late at night.
Yes.
And then
Those are so
today,
good.
I actually forgot it was Cinco de Mayo until right before this Sassy Hour. I ventured out and got McDonald's. First
oh,
food I've had in months and months. So
You're
McDonald's.
cheating on
Cinco de Mayo.
Whataburger?
Yeah, I'm venturing out.
Wow.
Pollo.
Whataburger?
I got those pollo nuggets on Cinco de Mayo.
Those pollo nuggets.
What are pollo nuggets?
Did you get your
Las fritas.
Did you get yourself a large Diet Coke like you normally do? From
Yeah,
Whataburger?
it was gone immediately.
88
Does it
ounce.
taste the same? Do you ever have that, like, where you go to a restaurant, you're like, wow, this restaurant's Coke is like better than other restaurants' Coke?
I think
Yeah.
that's Kendall's major argument.
Whataburger
Everything.
has the best. I won't even talk about it. I can go on and on.
Please.
Yeah,
Gas
I
station,
do. I'm sure.
typically, gas station Diet Coke is typically the worst because they don't change their lines.
So it's like got fungus in there.
And,
Yeah.
and it sits there longest, so it just tastes like pesticides. Whataburger has the best. McDonald's thinks they have the best because they put all this science into it. They elevate it at a certain level and they chill it at a certain thing and they throw it out if it's older than so and so. But it tastes too much like regular Coke. I'll write a book on it.
See, I think I like chocolate
connoisseur.
Coke and Whataburger Coke. Those are my two that I love the most that I've had experience. I'm not a Coke connoisseur like you are, unfortunately, so I can't say.
Not that kind.
Not that kind.
Keep it clean. Keep it clean. No,
It's the best diet you can get. Which, what Coke are we talking about? The Coke diet, I thought you said.
Mexican Coke.
the Diet Coke.
Mexican Coke. All right, well, we were teasing that we had some special guests coming on. So you guys ready to catch our special guests? Yeah?
Yeah, who wants to guess who our guests are?
All right, well, we've got some special guests joining us from all across the state of Texas, slowly joining us.
Hi, guys.
Howdy. We hear voices.
Hey, Mom.
Howdy. How you doing, Houston, Texas?
Hey,
Hi.
howdy.
I think you all need to start your videos.
There we go.
How do I start my video?
Should
Bottom
be
left
down
corner.
the bottom left corner. There you go.
Oh, there's
There's
one Patty.
no, wait.
There we got Patty on.
Hey, Pat.
Mom.
Hi.
We
Hi.
got
Y'all see me?
Yolanda on.
Am I
Howdy.
dark?
Yeah,
We
you're
can
a
see
little
you now.
dark.
Yes.
Maybe close the window behind you.
Okay.
We can see you in your dark.
That's part of the
There you go.
Hey.
There we go.
How you doing, Houston, Texas?
Hey.
Oh, hi.
Mom's pulling.
I have visitor. I have company.
She's pulling a Selena. Oh, special guest. You have backup dancers. That's good.
Okay.
And I have backup dancers.
So, Thomas, tell us where we have a special guest tonight.
Yes. So our special guest, we've got
Sit down.
Patty Wise, who is Chris's mom. So Chris from Our Spoopy Podcast. We've got his mom, Patty, who's joining us from Schertz, Texas. Howdy, Patty. How you doing?
Hello. Doing good.
Well, thanks for joining us today. We're glad to have you. And we're looking forward to the game we're about to play.
Shucks.
And you look great, by the way. The lighting, everything, love it. Good, nicely done.
Set dressing.
Yes. Now we know.
Amazing.
Now we know where Chris gets it from.
We're waiting on one more mom.
I get my amazing looks from my mom.
Here.
Yes. And there we go. We've got Yolanda on the phone. Hello, or on the call. So hi, that's my mom. So she.
Hi, guys. Hi, guys.
All the,
We see Kathy now. Hello.
welcome.
Hello, guys. How are you doing?
Good.
Good.
So welcome, mom.
You turn on the light.
Welcome to
Yes.
Kathy. How are you?
Hi, Mom.
Good. How are you guys?
Good. You got a special guest over there.
The one in my room. The one up here.
Really?
The one in the dining room.
Perfect.
She's sitting on the floor crying because she can hear talking to somebody. She's thinking, "Who is it?"
That's what
Bailey
Kathy's doing,
Bengals.
by the way.
That's
all of
Bailey
them is
Bengals.
yeah.
Awesome.
And Patty, I saw someone crawl
The
in
dining
behind
room.
the room. Who was that?
He went and turned on the light. He said, "You
Okay,
turn on
good.
the light." And I was like, "Turn it back on."
As long as you know there's someone in the house with you, we're good. I just wanted to
Oh
make
yeah,
sure.
and 3 dogs.
Okay.
How come I can't see the other moms?
You have to turn it to gallery view, Mom, not speaker view.
This is mom. I love it. Exactly the mom questions you would have in the scenarios you think you would have in a mom sit.
All right.
I can't see the moms.
Well, I can see them on this phone, but I can't see them on my iPad.
Love it.
Thomas, IT Thomas, tell us.
You'll
tell
see
me
them when they
where to
speak.
go, 'cause
Or in the upper right-hand corner, there's a section that says speaker view. If you click it, it'll change to gallery view, and then you can see everyone.
I mean, I'm not going to blame anyone's son, but some sons did a better job of coaching their moms than others.
shucks.
So.
Patty is the star student right now.
I have my turkey flies over here.
The guy that ran out is the protector.
Yeah.
Here it is. I see it.
Very good. All right. So we'll just get to know the moms first before we get into our games. Right, quick. So Patty, so what's how's quarantine been for you?
What been?
How's been
Quarantine?
quarantine? Have you been what's been the biggest biggest surprise about quarantine, about you yourself being at home away from everybody?
I don't get to see Chris because he won't come home. And I'm tired, so that hasn't really changed much for us. I just can't go out and spend money like I used to. But other than that, we're doing what we do every day.
Yeah.
Ew.
Very good.
How often do you call Chris and tell him to come visit? During the quarantine, I should say.
I text Chris quite often. I like to call it texting. When I get bored, I bother my kids and entertain me.
It's true. I love it.
Very cool.
And I just ask them random questions, and then they tell me things that I don't want to hear, and so I yell at them over text. And then I just stop texting them because I don't want to hear it anymore.
It's a whole circle.
That sounds about
And it's a new day tomorrow to begin.
Cycle begins all over again.
Exactly.
What about you, Mom? I know we talk regularly, but what's been like your biggest? Have any new hobbies or anything you picked up while quarantine? Besides the two little kids that you have in the background? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big life change.
Yeah.
Can't go anywhere. All the malls are starting, but can't really go shopping because you're like. I went to Uvalde the other day and nobody was wearing a mask at Walmart.
Yeah.
That was kind of scary.
Yeah.
And so I can't go out to eat because I go out to eat a lot because I don't cook a lot. And you can't just get up and go wherever you want. So
yeah.
Have you had to cook more and practice your cooking skills more?
a little bit, not
How's
they
that gone?
have takeout.
Lots of takeout.
Frozen food.
Very cool.
So other than those, we stay home, but sometimes we just get up and go to the mall and look around. Can't do that. It saved me money. I can't go shopping. So
Well, that's good. Well,
I can't just pick up to Houston.
you picked up walking. I mean, I know you've taken some walks, so that's good.
Picked up walking.
Yeah, very good.
That keeps me entertained. The neighborhood's nice, so
Yeah,
I get to do that.
that's good.
As far as working out, that's the extent of my workout.
Hey, staying healthy, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, great. What about you, Kathy? What sort of projects have you taken on while being in quarantine? I know plenty, but any ones you want to highlight?
Well, like Patty, I'm retired too, so it's kind of the same thing. I just can't go out and shop and spend money like I used to. That was my pastime, shopping and eating out, and now I can't do that. But I have my next door neighbor has 4 little kids, and she has a set of twins that are 9 months old, whom I love. Who I go over and spend a lot of time over there. So, because they don't go anywhere. It's just them, and it's just us. So, Mark is working from home in his little office, but he never comes out and visits with me. He's too busy. It's like being at work. So,
What about you?
Is that where he is now? Because I saw him scoot past you a while ago. Is he just hiding?
if you see in my background, that chair back there, that's his chair. But I said, you can't stare because you're in my back views.
You can come and say
I'll
hi.
see him dragging out of the frame later when he's sick.
Yeah. So, and the dog keeps wanting to get up here and look at y'all.
We need to get
He can. We love dogs.
we need to get you some baked bones because baked bones calms the dogs down. So
Aww.
Aw, how cute.
It's the enemy.
Aw.
Bailey Bingle. All right, so we invited you on. I know you were all very nervous about this game that we're going to play, but promise it's going to be very, very simple. It's a take on the Newlywed Game, where we'll ask you questions about your sons, and that you'll, and if you get it right, you and your son have a match, then you'll get it right, and if not, then you don't get any points. And then at the end, we'll have a winner. So I know. Given the boys you raised, I know we've got some competitive moms out there, so I will I'm gonna toss it over to Kendall though, because my mom's on, and I'm gonna compete with my mom. So we'll toss it over to Kendall for more info.
Yes. And by the way, moms, well, first of all, Yolanda, of course, I've known you for a long time.
Yeah.
But your sons all your sons speak very highly of you, and they all say very sweet things. So they all made me promise not to embarrass anybody. So other than myself, I will try not to. I know you might be nervous. So I'm going to play like a version of the Newlywed Game, but it's going to be a mom, gay son version of it. And I'm going to ask you all the same question. Each write down your answer. An example would be like, what is your son's favorite ice cream flavor? And you'll answer what you think your son's is. The son will answer. And another example would be like, at what concert would your mom most likely throw her panties on the stage? So they're all going to be G-rated. Okay? I'm kidding.
I think I'd get that one.
We all assume Justin Bieber.
Thank God.
So 5 rounds. The first round will be worth 1 point. Second round will be worth 2 points. Third round, 3 points, and so on. And then whichever mom-son duo gets the most points by the end will win. So we'll start it off easy. And this one I will start with Kathy and Spencer.
Okay.
So
What did your son want to be
writing?
when he grew up?
Who's
Oh,
writing?
this is an easy one, but it's back when you were little.
But when your son was a child, what did he want to be when he grew up? Everybody's answering.
Say it.
So everybody writes it down, and then I'll give like 10 more seconds, and then we'll put papers down, and we'll go from there. But Kathy, you'll be the one that I asked.
What we wanted to be when we grew up? Is that what the question was?
Mm-hmm.
What did your son want to be when he grew up? So mom will answer that, and sons will answer what they think their mom would say, and we'll see if it's the same.
Okay. You ready?
Yes.
A taxi driver.
Yeah.
I love that.
A taxi driver.
What? You're
What would he
right.
say?
Pilot.
He put
Pilot.
No, you wanted to drive. You wanted to be in a car and drive all the time.
Should tell you.
You even
Maybe
gave me
that
the
was
hint,
his-
Spencer, when you were really little.
Really little.
Spencer, you were really little.
Yeah.
Oh, taxi driver. Oh, and you said pilot.
Well, that
Okay,
was-
Patty. So
driver.
when Chris was little, what did he want to be when he grew up?
An entomologist. You want to study bugs.
Wow.
Oh, Matt!
Is that what? And
Entomologist, bug scientist.
how old were you when you even knew what that was?
Gosh.
I was in kindergarten, right?
Yeah.
Kindergarten, I entomologist was and knew that's what I wanted to be.
You're so smart, Chris.
I know, I try. I get that from my mom and dad.
Patty, what did you think when you wanted to bring in bugs and start dissecting them in the house?
Oh, I did.
We had bugs in the house all the time. And ants and mostly the ant. They would collect ants. They would sit in the red ant pile and never get bit. So he had a relationship with the bugs.
That's
Somehow.
impressive. How long did the bug phase last? Is it still going on, Chris?
No, that wasn't until I was a teenager, right?
Yeah,
That
long
was a long
time.
time. Yeah.
I never would have guessed entomologist. And Spencer, how dare you get that wrong? You wanted to be a taxi driver.
It's still a vehicle. It's the driver of the vehicle.
Yolanda,
so
wait.
technically, it's right.
At 4. Spencer, when did you want to be a pilot?
When I was probably
I was
like
probably more 9.
8 or 9.
8
Yeah.
or 9 was the pilot.
You didn't
8 or 9,
specify an
okay.
age, Kendall, so technically it's your fault. And I'd like my point back.
Well, your mother was right, Spencer. Yolanda, when Thomas was little, what did he want to be when he grew up?
When he was little, I want to say psychiatrist.
I said psychologist.
Oh.
Psychologist, one of those. I don't know the difference, but
I'm giving it the point.
he wanted to solve it here and solve everybody's problems. It's like, everybody has problems. I'm going to listen to you, charge off for
I
it.
don't want to do that anymore.
Yolanda, when when he was a little kid, did he love to give his opinion about if you only did this, your problems would go away?
No.
He didn't give advice. He was just a little listener.
No. He gave us advice.
At what age did that stop?
What?
It's still
The
going on.
advice giving.
Advice? Oh, he's just still giving it. He decided that he was going to take more. He decided he was going to take more school to be a psychologist. He's like, I'm going a different direction. Still doing this. I'm in the same field, he said.
And he can still know what to do without the loan money and all that.
Yeah.
Okay, so for the first round, Tony, tell us what the scores are.
So I did give Yolanda and Thomas the point because I feel tomato. So Patty have a point and Kathy has 0.
All right.
You'll
Well,
make
you
it
can
up.
come back.
You'll make it up. Don't worry.
But each round the points get more and more. So like in round 2 the points are double. Round 3 they're triples. Everybody still has a chance.
So we're going to Patty now.
Okay.
Patty, the number one personality trait your son definitely got from you.
Furnace.
Oh,
Wait, you have to write it down. I mean, now we know. But
Sorry.
wait.
I
We give
haven't written
everybody
it down. If that makes it any better. I don't know if this counts. Can you see it?
True.
Write it down already?
Yeah. I had written it down before she had, but I knew that that's what I was trying to say.
What do you think,
He's
Tony?
right.
Do we give it stubbornness? How is stubborn?
Oh my gosh.
Examples.
He asks our opinion, and that's it. And then he does the total opposite, and then it bites him in the butt. And then he comes back and says, "You were correct. It'll listen."
So it works out in your favor in the end. Thomas, the would-be psychiatrist, where does that stem from?
Yeah, right.
All right, so Yolanda, number one personality trait your son definitely got from you.
I'm gonna say he gets along with everybody.
Like easygoing?
Easygoing, yeah.
I said patience.
Is that correct?
Patience. Okay,
Patience?
yeah.
Well, and it's in a muted way. I mean, so Spence probably looks like you're not patient, but but in a way that's like you're not just gonna pop off the handle, like to the point of like you're saying gets along with everybody. You're like, okay, you don't let all the stuff get the small stuff get in your way. So that's where I was going for it, but we didn't.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think we got.
Well, we're not going to give you that point, so we'll see if that makes you impatient or not.
Thanks, Kendall.
I mean, I can't be biased, Yolanda.
I know.
All right, Kathy, what's the number one personality trait your son definitely got from you?
Spencer, look at me, and I'll send this to you telepathically, okay? You ready? Got it?
Yeah.
I'm going to say compassion.
I have
See what it said.
kindness, thoughtfulness. I think that's close enough.
That's pretty close.
I think it is.
Yeah.
Let's let our judge Tony decide.
Kindness and thoughtfulness.
Pull out the thesaurus.
So yeah, I feel passion and kindness they're fair, close enough. I agree.
Good.
I agree to that one.
I don't know.
High five, man. High five.
Well, Tony, what does that make it? What's the score?
So I did give Thomas and Yolanda and Chris and Patty. So this round, everything was worth 2 points. So I did give Thomas and Yolanda and Chris and Patty 1 point each because I felt their answers were very similar. Like, they would act, but they were like patience and easygoing, and then sassiness and stubbornness are close. Like, so I gave you two each a point. So it's 2 to 2.
But we're still losing, Spence.
No, we're tied.
We're all tied.
It's tied.
You get a point. You get 2.
What did
Okay.
what did I say about the competitive mom on the one? And Spencer was like, my mom's not competitive. She's gonna try to win.
No, she's kind, not competitive.
I like how I like how Kathy is trying to think through the screen.
Yeah.
Spencer, I'm going to send you a thought right now. All right. So this one is for Yolanda and Thomas. The question goes to Thomas. Who was your mom's, and moms, everyone write this down. Who was your mom's teenage crush?
Oh my God.
I know.
There are so many to choose from, it looks like.
Yes,
I know it was a crush, but I don't know if it was the crush.
because I already know the answer to this one.
We'll give five more seconds if y'all need more time.
Oh my God. I don't even know who it was.
There's going to be a lot of Engelbert Humperdinks, I think. All right. Thomas, who was your mom's teenage crush?
I said Travolta.
Who?
Travolta.
That's not a good sign.
That was a good one. I'm going to go
What did
with
you say, Thomas?
I said John
Andy
Travolta.
Gibb.
I don't even know who
Oh,
that is.
Andy Gibb. Thomas said Travolta. It's the same era.
I got older.
Yeah.
He got older.
Yeah.
All right. Spin. Who was your mom's teenage crush?
So I can't remember the name of the guy that I'm thinking of was number one choice, and I'm wondering which part of teenager you're saying. How old teenager? Late teens, early teens?
We'll narrow it down to junior, senior year.
I still don't remember the name of the guy. Who sings Maggie May? No?
Rod Stewart said it.
Wrong? Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Oh. Who did you pick?
I was along your mom's, Thomas's mom's. I'm Maurice Gibb, the Bee Gees.
Those Gibb boys were popular.
They were.
Yolanda, what was it about the Gibbs boys?
Well, I like Andy Gibb. I like the way he sang Shadow Dancing. That was one of my favorite songs.
With the flowing
That
locks?
was a good one. But Rod Stewart was one of my favorites. He just wasn't cute enough. That's all.
True.
It was the hair. It was always the hair.
Yeah.
I mean, every few years it was doing something crazy. But, I mean, look what mine is.
But he's
All
still
right.
strong.
Chris, tell us, what was your mom's teenage crush?
So this one was a toss-up. I wrote my dad.
Oh.
Oh my
Oh, no.
gosh.
Oh, thank goodness.
Dude.
I knew it.
Wow.
How old were you when you met him?
16. We were both 16. We've been married going on 41 years.
Oh my.
We were high school
So met in
sweethearts.
high school. That's cute. There he is behind you crawling around. We've all seen him.
Chris, you have to do your cute thing.
All right, Tony, update us on the totals.
So Chris and Patty are ahead with 5, and then the other teams each have 2.
Come
All
on.
right.
There we go.
Sorry, Teach.
Nice. That's all right.
So we're going to take this
Sling ahead.
back to Kathy.
Okay.
Oh, actually, I'm sorry, back to Spencer. But Spencer and Kathy first. Spencer, if your mom could set you up on a date with any celebrity, who would it be?
Ooh,
I know
that's a good
this.
one.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
She knows. She's ready.
Good one.
I feel like my mom would. Well, she has to.
She's
She has
gotta-
to write
yeah,
first.
she's got to write it down. So the moms have to write it down.
Oh,
Write it down, moms. We'll give everybody some more time.
I don't know how to spell it, but
That's a good one.
Any celebrity.
Okay, is everybody ready?
I don't know.
All right, Spencer, if your mom that you want to date with any celebrity, who would it be?
My mom would say Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Ah, I love that.
Spencer, did you have a crush on Jake Gyllenhaal, or is that what kind of?
Oh no, I still don't. You have a crush on Jake Gyllenhaal? I thought we all did.
I have a crush on
Oh, yeah,
Jake
I
Gyllenhaal,
do,
but
yes.
that's not the one.
Okay, Patty, if you could set Chris up Any date with?
I can't remember his name. He's the little Olympic ice skater.
Oh, I love him.
I can't remember his name.
Adam Rippon.
No,
Search
not
of
at
the
all.
Adam Rippon.
I said Chris Evans from Captain America.
Oh, well, I had written Reynolds, and then I changed it.
That was a good one too. He's in my top 5, so that's good.
Aaron Rippon.
Good choices.
Like that.
Yeah, choices.
All right, Yolanda. Who are you setting up with?
Who I get
Who
to,
am I saying?
I say it first, right?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Thomas.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm sending TJ.
If your mom could set you up on a date with any celebrity, who would it be?
So this one's gonna be a little unorthodox because I think my mom.
Oh no, wait. If I could set TJ up,
Mom's gonna
Yes.
go. Yeah, that you.
if I could set TJ up,
Yeah, which
hold
celebrity?
on, I misunderstood.
Yes.
Which
So
celebrity was you up with?
Yes.
yes, Yolanda. If you could set Thomas up with any celebrity on a date, if he were single, obviously. Kathy, if you were single, it would be.
So you wrote it down?
Okay,
Mom, did you write it down?
I wrote it down.
Okay.
All right.
Well, I think ours is gonna be my answer would be a little bit unorthodox from what my mom would say, just because it's an old school crush of mine, and I talked about her on the podcast many times. I was gonna say Jennifer Lopez. Who did you
Oh.
say? Mom?
That's not what we expected.
J-Lo.
She said J Lo.
Hello.
Oh my God! Wow.
Oh my God. They are stirring up
Awesome.
That's telepathic now.
what you were trying to do earlier.
He goes on and on about her.
So,
Oh my God, I love
If Selena would have been alive, it would have been Selena.
no
But-
relation.
Or
Yolanda,
J-Lo.
we know his love for Selena and J-Lo. Has he always loved J-Lo since she played her in that movie? Like, where does the J-Lo obsession come from?
Yeah,
At
please
first,
tell us.
I don't think it was first for the movie, but after that, I think he saw her, he liked her. He liked the way she dancing, everything. Her,
What's hard to like?
and Shakira.
Oh yes.
No, he likes Shakira.
We
And
watched that
He,
Super Bowl
as someone
halftime
that
show
witnessed
so
it, he
many
did not blink that
times.
entire Super Bowl halftime
I
show.
know.
It
I
was
was
like,
looking forward to it.
okay, next one. And we're actually going to, Tony, we're going to do 2 more, so it'll be 6 rounds. And this is number 5. So this will be for Chris, starting with Chris, but for everyone. What story about you from your childhood does your mom love to tell?
Oh boy.
And we'll give a little extra time. So, what story about you from your childhood does your mom love to tell? Emo.
I think it has to be what I talked about yesterday. Hold on.
Wait, write it down.
Yeah, sorry.
So we're writing down, boys.
I'm gonna win a guess on a whim here.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. So I said me dancing in Desiree's skirt. I don't know.
You're still doing that.
I'm still doing it.
Give the skirt back.
I don't know. I had to think of that or me sitting naked in the bathtub by the pool. That little like metal bathtub.
I have never talked about either.
We're learning so much. Keep going.
Oh
Chris.
no. What did you say?
We talk about this all the time, but I don't brag about it or anything. But it was when he was born.
Oh yeah.
Both could have died, so it was very traumatic.
I thought about my
Wow.
too. So that one was the illnesses.
Chris
Childhood
was,
illnesses.
when Chris was born, was he in Desiree's skirt as well?
I could have
All right, Yolanda.
It made a lot of sense.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let's see. Thomas, what story about you from your childhood love to tell?
Wait, Mom says it. Who wrote it? I wrote it down.
Talking.
Hold on.
Did you write it down, Mom? Why am I confused?
Yeah.
Oh, you wrote it down? Okay, I can say it then. All right. The story, you wrote it down, Mom?
Yes.
Okay. I said the.
I don't know if it's. I don't know.
I said the dentist when I was a kid. I said dentist as a kid. What did you say?
I was gonna say that one. That one came to mind, but
When I
yes,
was grandma.
I was gonna say
your perm?
that one, but I went with
Your perm?
I was on it. I went for Sunday Fun Day.
Oh, is that the recent one?
No, I know. Yes.
What's the Sunday Fun Day story?
But it's more him and his sister. We used to do, when the kids were little, we used to go to the park. The families used to go to the park all the time. And so they wanted to go by the park. And so his dad says, okay, we're going to drive by the park where the families were, right? So we're driving by the park and we see the families and he says, okay, he didn't want to go to the park. Dad didn't want to go to the park. So the kids are in the back and we're waving to all of our family and he says, okay, we drove by the park. Because we're devastated because they wanted to get off and go play.
So yeah.
Thomas and the dentist. Was it because you're on the way to the bad dentist story?
Yeah, this paves the way why I spent $15,000 at the dentist in 1 year because I have bad teeth. But yeah, it was Mom likes to tell a story where I was kicking and screaming like I wouldn't go in. So I was like 3 or 4 years old and I was just crying and you could hear the whole clinic was just like looking at my mom, I guess, and me crying. So that's the story.
Yeah, he actually had to go to the doctor 3 times to get stitches in his head. So he was traumatized from the first time because they did the papoose around him, and so he was traumatized for that. So anytime he saw a white coat, he would start screaming. So when we to the dentist, they came to the door and they went in with the parents, and it was only the child, and he was hanging onto my leg for dear life, and he wouldn't let go. And so I took him outside and I said, you're going to the dentist because you need to have your teeth looked at. So finally they get him in there, kicking and screaming and everything. Well, when he's coming out with this lollipop with a big old smile on his face. And I'm like, what was all the drama about?
No wonder he wants to be a psychiatrist. That's a lot to go through and figure out.
Yes.
Okay, Spencer, what story about you from your childhood your mom loved to tell, Spence?
I don't know. Lately, she's been saying that I was really stubborn as a child, so I put stubborn as a kid.
Well, there are so many. Come on, that was a hard one. Yeah, I had him for 18 years as a little person. But here's what I said, because it was true. He's the reason we only have 2 boys, 2 children. It was so colicky. He never slept through the night, ladies, till he was 2. First time he slept through the night.
Oh boy.
And after a year, I said to my husband, "You got to have a vasectomy because we can't have any more of this."
Oh my God.
But there was
Spencer, did you even know that?
Oh, yeah.
Legacy. Oh.
We used to have to drive. My husband would have to drive him in the car around the neighborhood a couple of nights a week to get him to go to sleep. Bring him back in the house.
Is that the trick to get him to stop crying?
We would and another trick, we would put him on the dryer. So that constant buzz of the dryer would help him sleep. Let me tell you this too. When we were first married and we had a water bed, and when I would get him into sleep at night, and the water bed was when you got into it, I would tell Mark, "Don't you make a sound in that bed." That bed ever so gentle, not to make any noise, because we'd wake him up and he'd be up half the night.
Oh no.
Spencer, how often does she tell you
Look how he turned out, so perfect.
Still sleeps on the dryer though. In the podcast, if you ever hear a dryer in the background,
You know what's happening.
It's for sleep.
All right, Tony, tell us where we are with the points.
Well, it's
For
a
our
good thing
last
we have round 6 because we're almost essentially tied. So Spencer and Kathy and Tom and Yolanda have 6 points, and Chris and Patty have 5. So whoever
Let's take it home. We
wins
can do
round
it.
6. Yeah.
Anyone's game. Okay, so this is the last one. This is break, and this is another one for the sons, and we're going to start with Thomas. What word best describes your mom? So, sons, what word best describes your moms? Moms, what do you think your sons will say?
I feel like Oprah's gonna make me cry here. Although that's Kendall's crush, and his aspiration was to be Oprah, so that's about right. We're fulfilling his dream here.
Oh, I could have answered so many questions with Oprah. Childhood crush. Let's see. Celebrity going on a date with. Someone share this with Oprah, please. All right, everybody ready?
I'm ready.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Thomas, what word best describes your mom?
Did you write something down, Mom?
Yes.
Okay. I said kind.
Okay.
Because
I kind of said what you said earlier. Patient.
patient. Now,
Patient.
Oh, I like that. Thomas, tell us why she's kind.
Well, you've seen 2 little creatures moving in the background there, and so those are my cousin's kiddos, and so my mom has graciously, as of yesterday, taken them on to help out while they kind of sort things out, and so she's at I won't reveal her age, but at a age where she was not expecting to be playing the role of mommy. She's essentially doing that, and she's got 3 grandkids that love the heck out of her, as well as me and my sister and all of her. I mean, she's the oldest in her family, and so super kind. They know they can always go to my mom and lean on her for anything. And
You're gonna make me cry.
So yeah, so kind.
I will say that I was Yolanda, basically my mother-in-law for years, and Thomas, I think he said, "Mom, I'm gay, and this is my boyfriend," which is pretty much how it was. And to get that news, and to also, you were never reluctant around me or reasonable, or you treated me like a mom would, a good mom would. So I definitely agree with the kindness and patience.
Thanks. Y'all are making me cry.
I love that, Thomas. All right, Chris, the word that best describes your mom.
So the word that I used to describe my mom, and I'm hoping this is right, or at least close, was passionate. She is a woman who was always at home with us since Desiree was born, till Alex is still at home now. So she has taken care of us. She has always been the disciplinarian. When my dad was away at work, she was our stay-at-home mom and our rock. She always cares to the nth degree. Also will tell you when you're wrong, as she told you earlier about my stubbornness. The passion behind her is just ridiculous, and she puts her heart in everything that she does, and that's one trait I think that I've taken from her the most, is also the passionate side of her. So she's just a very powerful woman, and I respect the hell out of her. So that's why I put passionate.
And Patty, what did you put?
Supportive. I love that too. Very
And Patty,
as well.
I've never met you. This is actually my first time to see you. Very pretty.
Thank you.
I didn't know what to expect. But obviously never met you, but every time Chris talks about you, which is often, his eyes light up and he laughs. And you can tell just by he talks about you that he loves you. He was so excited to be able to do this to you. And I think it was because of him that likes to show off how great his mom is. So I'm so glad to finally meet you. And thank you for being supportive to your son.
Thank you.
I'm supportive to all my kids, but me and him always had I don't know, we just feed off each other and we get each other, and we just get along great. So
Peace, love there.
And we feel it, even like I said, the ones that have never met you before, we feel it by the way he talks about you. All right, Spencer, what word best is your mom?
I put beautiful for two reasons. Because she's a gorgeous woman and I love her. And she's beautiful on the inside too. My mom would give the shirt off of her back to anybody. She's, like she said, she raised two boys and then she raised 2 more kids while we were in high school. And then she's helping to raise 4 more now. So, I love you, Mom.
Love it.
I love you too, baby. I put love it because sir, you couldn't help but love that child. He was we used to call him my shadow because he was always, no matter where I was, he was stuck to my side. Call me Kissy. That was his name for me. He didn't call me Mom when he was little. He called me Kissy because he was always kissing me. And if you were looking for Spencer, you just look right beside me. We were inseparable when he was little. He just was always by my side, my little man. Yeah.
Kathy, I got to I think last year, and the bond you two have is so obvious, unquestionable, and so you are a mama bear. I could tell that from day one, and I mean that in every positive sense of the word. That you are like that is your little cub, and he knows it. He knows it, and he loves it. So
yeah. You know, when Spencer first told us he was gay, we kind of suspected it, but it just makes you even more of a mama bear because there's so many people out there that are not accepting of it, and it doesn't matter to me if he's gay, black, white. It doesn't matter. That's my child. I love that child with all my heart. With all my heart.
It's perfectly understandable for a parent to struggle with that. My mom struggled with it, but I never once doubted. You know, my mom is very religious, but never did I once doubt that she didn't love me and that she would come around and she just needed more time.
I'm making me cry now.
Not all moms can do that. You 3 moms have done that. I've heard it. I see it. I can sense it. So thank you on behalf of all gay sons, because not all gay sons have it as well as we have had.
Yeah, you're right.
So thank you. And Tony, I think you'll agree with me. They're all winners. We're not
Why did you have to steal my speech, Kendall? I had a whole speech prepared.
Oh, okay, take it.
Go for it.
Let's say, so before we got to the last round, everybody was essentially tied. And the whole point of the game is who knows their son or which son knows their mom the best. I do feel like the words you used may have been a little bit different, but the elaboration and the sentiment was there. And I do feel like both pairs knew each other so well. And it really amazes me how, like, you can verbally be supportive, but this just shows how supportive you are, where you're getting on a live webcast with sons and you're comfortable talking about gay things. And you as mothers, you know, you feel backlash as well, right? Like from society. I mean, it's not only the kids that feel, you know, backlash from people anti-gay. I'm sure you guys have had issues with friends or coworkers as well. So I just think y'all are for being here, for being so supportive throughout your kids' lives. I think it's awesome. So as Kendall said, no winners here. Everybody is a winner. I thought, like, last round really was awesome. I felt that everybody got teary-eyed. Was so cool.
Yeah.
To the
we love you guys. We love your podcast.
Yes, love your podcast.
Super cool.
Awesome.
Well, thank you, moms, for doing it. I think we all need a round of baked bones because they have CBD treats and they'd all calm us down and all tears would stop. But yeah, we don't have that, and we don't need dog treats, anyways. But Tony and Kendall, thank you guys for facilitating this little cry session with us. It was a lot of fun.
Thanks, Oprah.
Thank you to the moms for joining us. As a special gift, we've got a local candy shop, Jelvin's Candy Shop here in Houston that's LGBTQ owned. They offer a unique and meaningful solution to gift giving, and they're going to gift you guys with a little Mother's Day treat with some candy, some Hershey Kisses heading your way from Jelvin's Candy Shop. 60% of their profits are donated to the following two charity, to Sarah's House, which is in Pasadena, and South Houston Animal Shelter. So they go to a good cause, and they're one of our new sponsors. And they're going to provide you a little Hershey's gift, Hershey's Kisses for Mother's Day and for being on here. So thank you guys. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good fun.
Love y'all.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Y'all are amazing.
Bye.
Thank you guys.
Bye-bye.
Love y'all.
Bye, Mom.
Bye.
Bye.
Now
Girls
let's
say
see,
bye too.
bye, girls. Now
Let's see who can figure out how to log off
yeah,
first.
let's see which moms can figure out how to
Okay.
log off.
What do we do now?
I think my mom knows how to leave.
I'm
Bye.
trying to
Love
figure
you.
it out. Hold on, wait.
Patty waiting. She got
Stop video.
Yeah,
Okay.
she got it.
There we go.
She got it by herself.
There we go.
That was very cute. Your mom's
That was adorable.
I love that. Y'all's moms are so cute.
Very cool.
Spencer's still emotional
Hold on.
because he got the taxi driver one wrong.
I do feel though that very last round was that was very awesome. I thought that was really good.
That was a good. So did you come up with that on a whim? You said 5 rounds at the beginning.
I had an extra one in case that we needed to do like a sudden death or whatever, but then I was like,
Tiebreaker.
I wanted to leave the other one for the last, so I just changed it at the end.
Well, I
Oprah,
gotta
you know,
say,
Oprah's my idol.
I had an answer for which person in concert would your mom throw a panty on the stage for, and I'm pretty certain I'd get that right. And I'm going to text her afterward. Pretty certain she would have said Bon Jovi.
Oh my god.
Well, cool.
Wait, well, now I didn't want to embarrass. I used it as an example.
No,
I didn't
I know.
But now,
My mom would have been all like, coy, like, oh no.
well, Patty's eyes to go. This is the type of show I'm on now. But now that they're gone, Tom, what concert would your mom throw her panties up on the stage for? Not J-Lo too, huh?
No, my mom would have been. My mom goes to like she's in love with this Tejano music singer who she knows is not attractive, but she's like his voice is amazing, and this singer's name is actually called. Well, his name is Jay Perez, but he goes by The Voice, so it would be that guy. And I'm probably sure she's probably done that already. Not to disparage my mom after all the nice things we said, but you know, fans are fans.
Well, I think I heard talk about it,
Yeah,
and I think you said he was ugly then, so
yeah. Well, mom did too.
that's
So,
ugly.
by the way, Gloria's.
Spencer, oh, I'm sorry, I couldn't.
I was gonna say Gloria's woofing at all the moms, so she said hot moms. So.
Did she?
Right on, Gloria.
She's like, oh, look at those milks. Woof.
But Spencer has
Gloria,
changed
love
to that.
her.
I was just texting.
The
I love that.
The concert your mom would throw her panties on the stage.
I'm gonna go with Rod Stewart again. No, not Rod Stewart. David Cassidy was my other
Maurice
answer.
Gibbs. Maurice Gibbs.
Maurice Gibbs.
No, I think it's David Cassidy.
Oh, okay. It was lots of panties flying everywhere from Kathy, is what you're saying.
Sounds like it. Wow, she was a concert goer back in the day.
I don't think she's ever been to a concert of a man. She goes to Celine Dion.
So we are.
So she would have been on stage for fun.
So we have we're slowly getting back. I wouldn't say to normal. I mean, there's in one instance the state's opening up, right? I mean, we got restaurants that are at little capacity. The governor just announced hair salons and nail salons are opening up. At the same time, there's a recording.
Thank God.
There's a recording talking about how many deaths he knows that they're going to happen. There's going to be a spike in that, but so we're slowly moving out of quarantine land. Like, will you guys have any things you're going to do? I mean, so this is our last Sassy Hour, by the way, right? Just because we know folks are going to get slowly starting to emerge from their homes. So anything you guys are going to do now that we're in out of quarantine land? I will go to Chris, you first. Anything you're looking forward to or going to do? Like, first thing you're like, and maybe your answer is, I'm not going to do anything yet, but when it is normal, I'm going to do.
Yes. So, I mean, my answer was going to be I'm not going to do anything just yet, but I think the first thing, my mom already talked about this, but my first thing is going to be hug my mom. I mean, I know they're quarantined and I've been quarantined, so like at some point I'm just going to go home and hug her, especially after the podcast and how much I just want to like squeeze her little cheeks and hug her.
And she will remind you every day.
Do what?
And she will remind you every day too.
She was. She's like, you said.
Now you're on video. Well, that's fun.
So yeah, that'll be my first thing that I'll do, and of course, at some point, go back to work.
Yep. All right, good deal. What about you, Tony?
Immediately, not really. Like, we're still working from home, probably until June at least. So nothing in my life is gonna change.
All right. What about you, Spence?
Well,
Chris, go
sorry.
ahead.
I was going to say, Tony, that's a lie because you started having driveway parties. You're still having social distancing driveway parties, so no one attack me, okay?
Oh, I'm going to keep doing that, yeah. So one of the things that my neighbors and I did adopt in the quarantine was driveway drinks. And so, you know, we all just bring our chairs out and sit in front of our driveway. So that's definitely going to continue.
Yeah, you're all safe apart. I mean, it's like you're a good distance away from each other.
I'm not saying it wasn't safe. I'm just saying that it was a thing that
Actually,
had been doing.
my super fabulous neighbor, Kitty, who's like, she's like in her 70s, living her best life. She lives more of an active life than all of us combined, trust me. And so yesterday she goes, hey, everybody, had some blackberries left over, so I'm going to make some blackberry cobbler for driveway dessert tomorrow, so I'm going to have that right after this podcast.
That's so cute.
Or this little happy hour.
Nice. I love, Chris, that you were trying to insinuate that Tony's not going outside because all he does is stay inside and go outside.
That's
Stay at home and go outside, exactly. That's all I'm doing.
And what about you, Spence?
I think the responsible answer here is to say to go get Kennedy groomed because he's not looking his best.
Just in this area, yeah.
Right here.
Pretty much, you know, you haven't seen his belly. It's Maddie.
Yeah.
Could you ever answer any question without attacking your poor dog?
No,
Or Kennedy?
Tony.
He's such a defender for poor Kennedy.
Which, for the record, I mean, we've got a sponsor on our podcast, which is our Aussie Pet Mobile, and they're great for normal dogs. It's just Kennedy, you can't put him on enough bake bones to make sure that he gets that he's calm enough. So, yeah, we gotta DIY Kennedy. So we'll be doing that.
And second choice is drag race at the bars with all the crowd. I missed that.
I love that.
What about you, Kendall?
I'm going to get married.
Oh, yeah!
I was supposed to get married April 25th, and it was canceled. Postponed, we should say. So, married, rescheduled that honeymoon, boo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I will be getting margaritas because I'm out, so that's what I'm going to be doing. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to hanging out with everybody and not being scared of stuff. But yeah, it's, I think it was Sammy in the chat. He was like, "I'm not going anywhere anytime soon." So you know, I'll be hunkered down for a bit, much longer until we get the all clear. But yeah, definitely looking forward to being out and about soon enough. So cool. Well. We have exceeded our hour, so our Spoopy guys, where can you find us? Where we can find you guys, rather?
We're available.
Spencer, do it.
We're available at ourspoopypodcast.com. That's Our Spoopy Podcast on Instagram, Our Spoopy on Twitter, and Our Spoop on Facebook. You want to drop us a line? Hit us up at ourspoopypodcast@gmail.com. Chris, why don't you tell us about our latest episode?
The latest episode just came out on Sunday. And we just hit the 50 mark. 50 episodes. 50. I love that. 50 episodes is amazing. We talked about something we have never talked about before. We talked about a curse. Curses are spoopy, right? So listen to that one. We talked about the curse of Tutankhamun. And then we talked about the missing man, Mateusz Kwiatkowski.
Mateusz Kwiatkowski.
Kvetchki, there you go. So Spencer continued his own personal theme that he unveiled this week for the last month about unsolved murders. So go listen to those episodes. That episode, it's open, available now. Shoot.
Very cool.
And stay tuned because we've got a big episode coming up for our 1-year anniversary.
Absolutely.
Yes.
We've got a lot of research going into that one, and we're excited to see you guys and hear from you guys after that episode.
Yeah.
It's a secret.
That's right. We're both hitting our big 1 year soon. You guys a week ahead of us, but very excited that Let's Talk About Gay Stuff crew. We've got our 49th episode out, and we are talking about, I'm going to have to do this from memory because I don't write it down on my notes. We are talking about Lance Bass, Billie Jean King, and
Oh my God, it's mine and I forgot it.
Yeah.
The first transgender.
Yeah,
has
Christine Jorgensen. And we did it twice. We did that episode twice, and we still don't remember. That's because our brains are full of all sorts of research.
Third time's the charm.
Yes. So check out our episode 49. We're, like we said, we're heading out on our 1 year anniversary, so very excited. Unfortunately, we won't be doing any Pride festivities in June, but hopefully we'll get back into that soon enough. And for Houston, maybe later in the fall, but we'll see what the conditions look like then. But you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Let's Talk About Gay Stuff, and on Twitter at Talk Gay Stuff. And send us an email, follow us. We just had that cool article from Outsmart Magazine, so thanks Outsmart Magazine for that. So you guys want to tell us?
Should we tell them to get spoopy with it?
You with it?
Yeah. And from the guys at Let's Talk About Gay Stuff, again, this is our last Sassy Hour, so we'll miss you. Stay connected, but we're here.
We're queer.
Get used to it.
Cheers, everybody.
Love you, Queen.
Bye.
Cheers, fun.
Thanks, Moms.
Bye.